This is All India Radio. I'm Anuja Kumar, and with me is Tanvi Taneja with the Midday News. The headlines. India and US to work together for stability and prosperity in the Indo-Pacific region. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar meets US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. Quad Foreign Ministers of India, USA, Japan and Australia to hold discussions in Tokyo today. Ayush Ministry Standard Treatment Protocols to fight coronavirus released by Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan. SOP for reopening of cinema halls released by Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar. More than 8 crore COVID-19 tests conducted in the country so far. Recovery rate reaches 84.70%. And in IPL cricket, Mumbai Indians to clash with the Rajasthan Royals in Abu Dhabi this evening. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a note of precaution to stay safe and stay protected in 3 simple steps. Wear face masks, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand hygiene and face hygiene. Now, the news in detail. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar met Secretary of State of the United States Mike Pompeo today ahead of his joint meeting with the foreign ministers of Quad countries slated to be held later in the day. Dr. Jaishankar is on a 2-day visit to Tokyo, Japan, which began today. Dr. Jaishankar in a tweet said that he is pleased to see the progress of Indo-US partnership in many fields. He said both the countries will work together for stability and prosperity in the Indo-Pacific. The foreign ministers of India, United States, Australia and Japan are likely to discuss the post-COVID-19 international order and the need for a coordinated response to the various challenges emerging from the pandemic. They will also discuss the regional issues and collectively affirm the importance of maintaining a free, open and inclusive Indo-Pacific. Dr. Jaishankar will also be meeting his Japanese and Australian counterpart for a bilateral consultation. The ministers are expected to discuss bilateral and regional issues of mutual interest. More details from our correspondent.
The meeting of foreign ministers of India, United States, Australia and Japan holds high significance amid the global pandemic. This is the second time the 4 foreign ministers will be meeting after the first such meeting last year on the sidelines of the United Nations meet. In addition to the Quad meeting, details are also being worked out for the India-US 2+2 dialogue. The crucial meet will also embolden one of the most powerful and decisive union of nations in the recent times. Quad countries, including Australia and Japan, have already assured huge investments in India's infrastructure, technology and supply chain. With the United States also hailing India as a big power in the Indo-Pacific region, the Quad also appears to have a pivotal role in reshaping the power dynamics of the world in the coming years. Anand Chaturvedi, AIR News, Delhi.
We spoke exclusively to the noted defense analyst Uday Bhaskar on the importance of Quad.
The Quad as a grouping is a work in progress, and the current meeting in Tokyo between the foreign ministers of the 4 countries, to my mind, is a significant punctuation in giving some kind of form to the idea of the Quad. It has been mooted some time ago, but till now I think there has been a certain lack of consensus about what would be an acceptable common agenda. My sense is that after the meeting in Tokyo, there would be some direction that would be provided and a prioritization about which are the issues that these 4 countries would work towards. And it would be misleading to think that this is only anti-China.
You were listening to Commodore Uday Bhaskar just now. India and Myanmar have agreed to work towards the operationalization of the Sittwe port in the Rakhine state in the first quarter of 2021. The announcement came post-conclusion of the 2-day visit of Chief of Army Staff General M.M. Narawane and Foreign Secretary Harshvardhan Shringla to Myanmar on the 4th and 5th of this month. During the visit, the Army Chief and the Foreign Secretary called on the State Councillor Aung San Suu Kyi and Commander-in-Chief of Defence Services, Senior General Min Aung Hlaing, among several other senior civilian and army officers. Both sides agreed to further strengthen their partnership in connectivity projects, capacity building, power and energy. They also agreed to deepen the economic and trade ties, further facilitate people-to-people and cultural exchanges, and broad-base their defence exchanges across all the three services. It was also agreed to deepen cooperation to overcome the challenges posed by the ongoing pandemic. 3,000 vials of remdesivir was presented to the State Councillor Aung San Suu Kyi, symbolic of India's commitment to assist Myanmar in its fight against the ongoing pandemic. India and Myanmar discussed the progress in the ongoing Indian-assisted infrastructure projects, such as the Trilateral Highway and the Kaladan Multi-Modal Transit Transport Project. Both the sides agreed not to allow their territories to be used for activities inimical to each other. India thanked Myanmar for handing over 22 cadres of the Indian insurgent groups to it. India announced a grant of $2 million for the construction of the Border Heart Bridge at Byanyu, Sarsi Chowk in Chin State. It will provide increased economic connectivity between Mizoram and Myanmar.
The centre has disbursed nearly 20,000 crore rupees among the states from the amount collected as compensation cess this year. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman made the announcement to this effect after the 42nd GST Council meet yesterday. Briefing media in New Delhi, Finance Minister informed that by next week, the centre will also disburse 25,000 crore rupees towards integrated GST for 2017-18 to those states that received less amount due to the anomalies. The GST Council also recommended the extension of levy of compensation cess beyond the transition period of 5 years, which is beyond June 2022 for such period as may be required to meet the revenue gap. The Finance Minister informed that the GST Council deferred the decision on the mode of payment of pending GST compensation share of the states to the 12th October meeting of the Council. She said that about 20 to 21 states chose the option given by the centre, which allowed the states to borrow to cover the compensation shortfall. However, other states, she said, did not choose any option and wanted the centre to borrow and pay the shortfall. Revenue Secretary Ajay Bhushan Pandey, who was also present during the media briefing, informed that starting from 1st of January next year, taxpayers with less than 5 crore rupees annual turnover will not be required to file monthly GSTR-1 and GSTR-3B returns. He said they will now have to file it on a quarterly basis. The GST Council meeting was attended by finance ministers of all states and union territories. The country is witnessing a steady fall in the number of active COVID cases incessantly for the past 2 weeks. The number of patients infected by the virus has been maintained below the 10 lakh mark by constant, active and effective intervention of the Health Ministry. Out of the total reported cases, only 13.75% are currently reported to be under hospitalization. The country continues to register steady growth in terms of COVID recoveries and registered a cumulative recovery rate of 84.70%. With over 56,62,000 recoveries so far, India continues to occupy the top global position as the country with the maximum number of recoveries. Around 76,000 patients were discharged from hospitals after being reported healthy during the last 24 hours. The number of recovered patients has also overtaken the active cases by nearly 6 times. An unprecedented surge in COVID recoveries with more than 100% increase in patients being recovered and discharged in the last 1 month has also been reported. Currently, India's case fatality rate stands at 1.55%. The country has progressively maintained a low case fatality rate and stands at almost half of the current global average. In the last 24 hours, 61,267 new cases were reported, taking the total number of positive cases reported in the country so far to 66,85,083. Presently, the total number of active cases in the country is 9,19,023. In the last 24 hours, 884 deaths were reported, taking the total to 1,03,569.
The country has reached a new milestone in terms of COVID testing. With nearly 8 crore 11 lakh overall tests conducted so far, India continues to be the leader amongst other countries in terms of daily COVID testing figures. Nearly 11 lakh COVID samples were tested in the country in the last 24 hours. The Union Government and the Indian Council of Medical Research have scaled up the testing infrastructure in a calibrated manner. India's testing capacity has touched 15 lakh per day, ensuring easily accessible COVID-19 tests by all. Health Ministry said that very high levels of testing lead to early identification, prompt isolation and effective treatment of COVID-19 cases. It said this also leads to low fatality rate. Tests done per million of the population has also risen manifold in a span of 2 months and currently stands at nearly 50,000 per million of the population. With the expansion of testing infrastructure, the daily testing by states and union territories has also increased. 23 states and UTs have recorded higher tests per million than the national average. Despite increase in testing, the positivity rate remains low and hovers around 8.2%. Bihar, Gujarat, Uttar Pradesh, Manipur, Jharkhand and Telangana are among the states recording a positivity rate even lower than 5%.
You're listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. Before we move on, a reminder of the headlines. India and the US to work together for stability and prosperity in the Indo-Pacific region. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar meets US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. Quad foreign ministers of India, USA, Japan and Australia to hold discussions in Tokyo today. Ayush Ministry's standard treatment protocols to fight coronavirus released by Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan. SOP for reopening of cinema halls released by Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar. More than 8 crore COVID-19 tests conducted in the country so far. Recovery rate reaches 84.70%. And in IPL cricket, Mumbai Indians to clash with Rajasthan Royals in Abu Dhabi this evening. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
All India Radio presents World News. News and views from across the globe. What happened? What is up next? The newsmakers and the highlights of the day. Every day at 10:20 p.m. in the night. On 100.1 FM, All India Radio. Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan released the Ayush Standard Treatment Protocol through video conferencing. The protocol contains the detailed self-care guidelines for preventive health measures to help protect against COVID-19 pandemic. The upgradation of protocols by the Ministry of Ayush has been done in sync with ICMR and CSIR. Clinical studies have established some Ayurveda interventions like Ashwagandha, Long and Giloy as anti-inflammatory, antiviral and immunity modulating which help protect against COVID-19.
आयुर्वेदा हमारा देश का प्राचीन ज्ञान है और हम सब जानते हैं कि ये शायद दुनिया में सबसे पुराना ज्ञान है। इसका उल्लेख वेदों में है। अथर्ववेद का इसको ऑफशूट माना जा सकता है। अगर ये कहा जाए तो ये अतिशयोक्ति भी नहीं है। आयुर्वेद के बारे में ये केवल हमारा है इसलिए हम इसको बड़ा मानते हैं, ऐसा नहीं है। ये वास्तव में ये भारत का दुनिया का सबसे प्राचीनतम ज्ञान है।
Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar today released the standard operating procedures regarding the reopening of cinema halls in the country from the 15th of this month. Briefing the media in New Delhi today, he informed that cinema halls would be allowed to function at 50% capacity, as was earlier stated in the guidelines of the Home Ministry.
स्वास्थ्य मंत्रालय के सलाह से I&B मिनिस्ट्री ने एक SOP घोषित किया है और उसमें 50% लोग अलाउड होंगे, यानी अगर 200 का स्क्रीन होगा तो 100 लोग आ सकेंगे। एक कुर्सी छोड़कर एक कुर्सी ऐसी बैठने की व्यवस्था होगी। पूरी मास्क लगाना होगा, उसके साथ सुरक्षित दूरी और सैनिटाइजर इसका उपयोग बाध्यकारी है।
Cinema halls have been asked to maintain proper air ventilation inside the auditoriums. The screening of movies will be allowed in staggered shift timings, allowing enough time for proper sanitization of the cinema hall premises. The minister also informed that a 1-minute clipping spreading awareness about the protocols to be followed during COVID times will also be screened in the theatres and cinema halls both before the start of the movie and during the interval. Mr. Javadekar said that single-screen cinema halls should ensure that multiple ticketing windows are made available for the visitors so that overcrowding could be avoided. He also stressed on promoting online medium for ticket booking as much as possible.
Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan has said that the Uttar Pradesh government led by Yogi Adityanath has done an incredible and wonderful job in controlling the coronavirus infection in the state. Many important projects in the medical and health field have been undertaken in the state. Dr. Harshvardhan, along with Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath, digitally inaugurated the super specialty block at the Motilal Nehru Medical College, Prayagraj, yesterday. More in this report.
The 200-bedded facility at Motilal Nehru Medical College has been dedicated as a COVID hospital to the nation. The Union Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan also digitally inaugurated the first high-throughput Cobas 6800 machine in Uttar Pradesh installed by ICMR to pursue its regionally balanced COVID testing strategy. The super specialty block is built with an investment of Rs 150 crores under the Pradhan Mantri Swasthya Suraksha Yojana. The Cobas lab would provide high-volume quality testing and will be able to test 1500 samples daily. On this occasion, Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath said that under the guidance of Pradhan Mantri Narendra Modi, UP has done a tremendous job of controlling the deadly disease. The state government is working dedicatedly and tirelessly to check the spread of infection. Sushil Chandra Tiwari, AIR News, Lucknow.
Maharashtra has seen a drop in daily number of corona-positive patients since the last few days, while the number of recoveries has been steadily increasing. As per the latest figures, 12,982 patients were discharged from various hospitals across the state, while the number of new cases were 10,244. Thus, the tally of recovered patients has reached 11,62,584 and the recovery rate has touched 80%. Pune city, which as of now had the highest number of positive cases in the state, also saw a turnaround. Details from our correspondent.
As per the information given by Pune District Administration, presently there are only 37,106 active cases in Pune. The active cases in the district, which stood at 41 and 31% respectively in the months of May and July, has now come down to 10%. There has been a decrease of 6,000 patients in the number of active cases as compared to last week's figure. Pune district reported 1,240 new coronavirus cases in last 24 hours. However, Mumbai continues to report high numbers with a spike of nearly 1,800 new cases. Meanwhile, hotels, restaurants, food courts and bars across state opened yesterday. Hotel and Restaurant Association of Western India Senior Vice President Pradeep Shetty in a statement said the option to reopen restaurant comes as a big relief. Yet, not all restaurants are yet geared up to open immediately. The staff crunch and repair works issues need to be handled first. He said only 30% of the restaurants have opened right now and rest will open gradually. Sonali Ghadar Patil, AIR News, Mumbai.
The Gujarat government has announced a digital Seva Setu program for the rural areas. Under this program, the citizens will be able to get benefit from various public welfare services at the panchayat level. Our correspondent reports that the digital Seva Setu has been initiated under the BharatNet project, an initiative to connect the village panchayats through fibre network. The villages of Gujarat will be connected with a 100 Mbps optical fibre network under the Digital Seva Setu program. More from our correspondent.
Digital Seva Setu program has been announced by the Chief Minister Vijay Rupani at a press conference in Gandhinagar. The phase 1 of Digital Seva Setu will start from 8th October, which will cover 2,000 village panchayats. About 20 types of pro-people services will be provided at the village panchayat level. Another 8,000 village panchayats will be covered by December 2020. Citizens in rural areas will be able to get the benefits of this program by paying a nominal fee of ₹20. The citizens can get various documents like duplicate ration card, income certificate, senior citizen certificate, caste certificate at their doorstep under this program. The government will also provide powers of affidavit to the Trati Mantri at the village panchayat level so that people in rural areas do not have to visit the notary offices in towns and cities. Yogesh Pandya, AIR News, Ahmedabad.
In the Union Territory of Chandigarh, 133 people tested positive for COVID-19, while 177 patients were discharged from different hospitals post-recovery in the last 24 hours. 3 COVID patients lost their lives due to the infection, taking the tally of COVID deaths to 177 in the city. With this, the number of positive cases found so far in the Union Territory has risen to 12,578, and out of them, 10,797 patients have recovered.
Telangana reported 1,983 new COVID-19 cases in the last 24 hours. With this, the total COVID cases in the state has gone up to 2,02,594. The state conducted over 50,000 tests yesterday. The recovery rate also slightly improved to 86.26%, with 2,381 more people recovering yesterday. This took the number of recovered people so far in the state to 1,74,769. The daily bulletin issued by the State Medical and Health Department stated that the total deaths rose to 1,181, following 10 more deaths reported in the last 24 hours. In Tripura, 159 fresh cases of coronavirus were recorded in the last 24 hours. Also, 255 patients were discharged post-recovery yesterday. 2 deaths were also reported, taking the tally of those who succumbed to the disease so far to 298. The number of infected people reported are 27,033. So far, 22,108 people have been recovered from COVID-19. 4,601 patients are currently being treated. The recovery rate of COVID-19 has further improved to 81.85%, whereas the fatality rate stands at 1.10%.
Meghalaya is finally on the map for plasma therapy to treat COVID-19 patients after the Plasma Bank of Northeastern Indira Gandhi Regional Institute of Health and Medical Sciences became operational, and 6 BSF personnel donated their plasma today. The COVID-19 convalescent plasma collection was organized by the Department of Blood Bank of the Indira Gandhi Institute in collaboration with the BSF Frontier Headquarters. Director of the Institute, P. Bhattacharya, said that plasma therapy is a meeting place of technology and the human spirit. Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Y.S. Jagan Mohan Reddy today called on Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Both the leaders discussed issues related to the state, including release of the pending funds for Polavaram irrigation project. Our correspondent reports that approvals for various projects like Kadapa steel plant also came up for discussion. Mr. Reddy requested the Prime Minister for early release of the pending revenue grant of 10,000 crore rupees and 3,250 crore rupees allocation for the Polavaram project, besides setting up of a high court in Kurnool district.
In Bihar, so far 44 candidates have filed their nomination papers for the first phase of assembly elections. With only 2 days remaining for nominations, the process has gained momentum. The scrutiny will take place on 9th of October. Polling would be held on 28th of October in 71 assembly constituencies spread over 16 districts. Mostly contestants of non-recognized, registered, non-registered parties and independents have filed nominations. Among major political parties of the state, so far only 2 candidates of Janata Dal United submitted their nomination papers. State Transport Minister and party candidate Santosh Kumar Nirala filed his nomination from Rajput constituency in Buxar district. Randhir Kumar Soni has filed nomination from Shekhpura. 2 candidates of CPI-ML from Grand Alliance have also filed their nominations. On the other hand, 3 candidates of Mayawati-led Bahujan Samaj Party (BSP) also submitted their nomination papers. Due to COVID-19 pandemic, as precautionary measures, the Election Commission of India (ECI) has provided the option to candidates of filing online nomination and paying their security money to contest. In Maharashtra, Mumbai Police Commissioner Parambir Singh has said that the Cyber Cell Department is investigating the fake campaign which was launched in actor Sushant Singh Rajput's death case on social media. After the death of the actor, the investigation was first carried out by the Mumbai Police. However, the probe was later taken over by the Central Bureau of Investigation (CBI) after the Bihar government demanded for the same, bolstered by the AIIMS report that said that the medical board report ruled out murder angle in the actor's death. Mumbai Police Commissioner Parambir Singh said the fake campaign not only discouraged the Mumbai Police, but it also maligned the image of one of the reputed police forces in the country. He said there were thousands of individuals involved in this fake campaign and the cyber cell is identifying and probing the matter. Mumbai Police's cyber cell has registered 2 FIRs against unidentified people for trolling the city police commissioner on social media and using abusive language against him and the security force. The police has to know that several fake social media accounts are being used for the purpose. Deputy Commissioner of Police Cyber Cell, Rashmi Karandikar, said several social media account holders are trolling Mumbai Police Commissioner Parambir Singh on different platforms like Twitter, Instagram and Facebook and are using abusive language against him and the force.
In Chhattisgarh, the state police is planning to set up a cyber police station at each range headquarter to deal effectively with the increasing cyber crime. Recently, a state cyber police station was started at the police headquarter in the capital city, Raipur. More from a correspondent.
In the last few years, Chhattisgarh has witnessed a significant increase in cyber crimes. Many people have fell victims of financial fraud done through social media. In view of this, the state police has started a cyber police station at the police headquarters. Big cases related to cyber crime will be registered and investigated by this police station. This state cyber police station will also provide guidance to police stations located in various districts on the investigation of cyber crimes and other matters related to information technology. Besides, this cyber police station will coordinate with the various portals set up by the central government and also in the interstate affairs to control cyber crime. A lab has also been set up at the police headquarters to analyze electronic evidence. The Chhattisgarh police will also soon launch a mass campaign to alert people and make them aware of cyber crimes. Vikalp Shukla, AIR News, Raipur.
The Indian Air Force today conducted a full dress rehearsal, including a fly-past by its aircraft at its Hindon base in Ghaziabad for the 88th IAF Day on the 8th of October. Rafale fighter jet was the attraction of the rehearsal.
In Tamil Nadu, the 10-day Dussehra festival at Palyam Kottai in Tirunelveli district began with the formal raising of the flag mast today. The festival is popular throughout southern Tamil Nadu. 11 famous temples jointly participate in the festival. In IPL cricket today, Mumbai Indians will take on Rajasthan Royals in Abu Dhabi this evening. Mumbai Indians are placed second in the IPL table, while Rajasthan Royals are placed fifth. Delhi Capitals topped the tally. Earlier, Delhi Capitals beat Royal Challengers Bangalore by 59 runs in Dubai last night. Sent into bat, Delhi Capitals scored 196 for 4 in their stipulated 20 overs. Marcus Stoinis top-scored for DC with 53 of 26 balls. Chasing a formidable target of 197, RCB were registered to 137 for 9. With 43 of 39 balls, RCB skipper Virat Kohli was the highest scorer for his side, even as the others failed to impress.
Now let us take a look at the weather update for the day. The national capital Delhi will have mainly clear sky. The minimum temperature was recorded at 18 degrees Celsius and maximum is expected to be around 35 degrees. In Mumbai, there will be generally cloudy sky with light rain. Minimum temperature was 25 degrees and the maximum will be around 32. Chennai will have generally cloudy sky with light rain. The temperature is likely to hover between 26 and 36. Kolkata will see a generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. The minimum temperature in the metropolis was 27 degrees Celsius, while the maximum is expected to be around 31. In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, the minimum temperature was 17 degrees Celsius in Jammu, while the maximum will be around 35. The city is likely to have mainly clear sky. In Srinagar, the minimum temperature was around 5 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 27. The city will have mainly a clear sky. Ladakh will have mainly clear sky. Temperature is likely to hover between -2 and 20 degrees Celsius. In Gilgit, the temperature is likely to hover between 7 and 30 degrees Celsius. In Muzaffarabad, there will be mainly clear sky. Temperature is likely to hover between 11 and 30 degrees Celsius. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. India and US to work together for stability and prosperity in the Indo-Pacific region. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar meets US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. Quad Foreign Ministers of India, USA, Japan and Australia meeting underway in Tokyo. Ayush Ministry standard treatment protocols to fight coronavirus released by Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan. SOP for reopening of cinema halls released by Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar. More than 8 crore COVID-19 tests conducted in the country so far. Recovery rate reaches 84.70%. And with that, we end the midday news.